And we're on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to TNT. It's on the weekend. And as usual on Saturdays and Sundays for TNT, I'm joined by
Nick here. And a very good morning to the first people in the chat, Icy Veins, Don, Hans, Frank in Thailand, and Nong Sao.
Well, I just proved that it works. So as people join us on the chat, we should say that we're going to be talking about a number of things today. Obviously, the things that have been making the news. The smog up in Bangkok in northern Thailand has been, I think the word is hideous over the past few days. Glad to say that the further you go south in Thailand, obviously the less the air pollution at this time of the year. So if you'd all like to get on a plane and head down, and you can come and join us in the studio. We're also going to have a talk about these little guys. Also about AI. There's so many issues about artificial intelligence at the moment. In fact, you may not know it, but Nick's not actually real. He's just
a simulation.
He's a simulation of a Thai person who can't speak Thai.
And I was fed a whole bunch of pulp culture from the United States, which is why I speak like this but appear Thai. Living proof. Or semi-living.
Completely artificial. So good morning to everybody. Anne says, glad I'm missing the rice field burning smog. And so there's been so many people who've been saying, don't use your cars, or stay at home, or don't burn joss sticks, or but the thing is that the big elephant in the room, and not this one, is the fact that it's the plantations, the burning off of those areas.
Of course.
Should I just go to the way it's been reported? And I think I have to click on that before that's going to work. The Bangkok Post saying that the haze returns with a vengeance. And this is an iconic photo that people take when you can see the Buddha statue down the end of this road. And unfortunately, if you tried to take that photo over the last few days, you almost didn't see the Buddha. And apparently, over the past week, there's been 370,000 patients who've been suffering from illness in 43 provinces. There's 77 provinces. Jeez. That's Dina. Remained blanketed in smoke. You wondered what the hell was going on? Yeah. My chair's collapsing. And the Chulalongkorn University Demonstration Secondary School in Pattanawan. Now, that's always a very populated sort of part of Bangkok, populated and polluted. Said it would be closed yesterday due to concerns over the respiratory impact on the students, and also the Jindabamrung School in Kanayoi district. They closed, and the Tawi Wata district office also suggested that 7 schools under the supervision of the BMA also do the same. Down the bottom there, schools can exercise discretion in their decision to close if the dust levels are found to be safe, according to the ministry. My question is, if the air pollution is bad at the school, if you go home, is the air pollution going to be any better?
No.
I mean, if you're inside at school with the air conditioning on, which sort of helps filter out some of the stuff, or at home, is it going to sort of make any difference? Are schools places where air pollution sort of collects?
I have to say it doesn't even change. It's negligible if it does.
Yeah, a bit odd. So in the north, both the upper and lower areas were under similarly close watch in 17 provinces. So this is really, it's the worst I've seen it in a long time, as in the number of days, successive days, and also the level of some of the pollution reaching these purple or very unhealthy, I think purple is hazardous actually, levels. And according to the Public Health Ministry, a total of 376,000 people suffered from health ailments of some kind caused by air pollution this week. That is the map from IQ Air. You see down the bottom there, we've got Bangkok, which is not as bad this morning. Yellows, oranges, and pinks. You can see the scale down the bottom. If you're getting into the reds and the purples, it's pretty nasty. Then right up there north in Chiang Mai, which I've got a circle around, also in the unhealthy zone. And this next picture, I suppose, exemplifies that the further south you go, the less the air pollution. And so down there you got Phuket today in 21s, 35s, 50 being the level where it goes from good to moderate. So that's the air pollution situation here in Thailand. And I'd be interested to know what our commenters think about ways of reducing the air pollution. Clearly, as I've shown with the NASA fire maps in the past, a part of the problem is the air pollution, the burning off in places like Cambodia and Laos or Myanmar. And the Thai government can't really do much to control that.
I've noticed, is that a little fire icon in Vietnam? Or Cambodia, I should say?
Yes. When you can turn on the fires, see there you can click on the fires there. But if I showed the fire map, so I could bring it up if you like. Just give me a moment. You can just go through some of the comments. So I'll bring up the fire maps.
Suggests that it's not the cars that are contributing to this. And Frank says, air conditioner at school? No, not possible, Ani-san. And
that would be true that a lot of schools wouldn't have air conditioning.
Thai schools don't technically have air conditioning.
Okay.
Or typically don't have it. Yeah. And so most of them are open air and really hot.
So just here's the fire maps. This is from NASA, and this shows around the world where the fires are. Look at the southern Sahara there in Africa. Wow. A lot of burning off going there. But if we move into Southeast Asia, turn off that notifications. And there's Bangkok. And in the middle there. And if I zoom out, you will see that there's a lot of fires. And of course, at the moment, it's only, 9 o'clock in the morning in Thailand. So this is Cambodia here. And you can see a lot of fires there. And then you've got north of there, got Laos, less of a problem. And then now we're sort of focusing on northern Thailand. And you can see that, it's not too bad today. So it looks like they're having a bit of a break for the weekend. But around this particular zone, the worst situation coming from Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all freely available information from NASA, and it's the fire maps, and it does give, I suppose, a much more realistic situation of what's happening with the fires. And it's those big fires and the enormous amount of smoke that comes from the burning off of sugarcane and corn, husks and stuff like that, that's causing all this smoke and pollution. Remembering that the traffic, the belching buses
and motorbikes and tuk-tuks and everything,
they're happening 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time of the year, it's not as if the traffic suddenly gets worse. It's that they start this burning off, and this is what's causing the smog, not so much the traffic.
As well, mentioning that Robbo in the Bay asks, Tim, using your crystal ball, how long will this pollution last? I'm arriving in Bangkok this month. In a month.
Well, look, it's on a daily basis, and it depends on how much there's wind to blow this away. So when it's really bad, there's very, very light winds, not enough to blow the smog into some other poor country. So the worst time of the year is basically from December up to April. That's the burning season. And if you're up in Chiang Mai or places like that at this time of the year, you can have really bad days.
Mm-hmm.
And we've probably got the worst to come. February would be the worst. It's when it gets hotter, and also the winds get lighter in February.
And Albert asks, hello from Crazy Penang. Using 5G to tune into you. Is 5G a big thing in Thailand?
Yeah, yes. Yes. We are on the internet now, but usually when I used to stream over the road at Dean and DeLuca, I was using 5G. Yeah, I mean, Thais love their 5G. There's a lot of 5G around. All the three main providers, AIS, DTAC, and True, all got very good 5G and very fast speeds.
Yes, I'd say the internet I have here is faster than that in the States.
Certainly a lot faster.
So much faster.
And cheaper than when I was in Australia. And I was trying to do the show each day, and it was not easy. So, I would say that the 5G here in Thailand is excellent.
And before we get into the visa questions again, it seems like a recurring topic. Don Jordan asks, does Singapore still get the smoke from Malaysia or Indonesia? I forgot which, but it's nasty.
Singapore.
Yes.
Okay, so it depends. This is a different time of the year, and they have a different burning off season. But yes, Singapore does suffer from the smoke coming from Indonesia. Parts of Sumatra, they have a lot of agriculture, and when the wind blows across the Straits of Malacca, it can get pretty nasty. But I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember when that time of the year is, but Phuket suffers at that time of the year as well. Just roughly, I think it's sort of March and April. I can't really remember. But yeah, Phuket, because it's sort of suffering more from that than it does from the fires up in Cambodia, Laos, or Myanmar.
And Frank asks, why does innocent comment get withdrawn? But I haven't seen anything. Where's the little fellow this evening? I think that's in reference to Ivan.
Oh, Ivan, he's just a guest
He was
last
just
week.
a guest.
Yeah, we should mention that tomorrow we've got Sean Stenning from Living Waters Phuket and 5-Star Marine. Now, he's going to be in to talk a little bit about these. We'll speak about these briefly. And so he's our guest tomorrow with the two of us. And then next week, we've got a snake guy coming in. You say you want him to bring in a snake.
I want him to bring in a snake.
Yeah, I don't.
That way we can
I
also
don't do
point at it and say, if you see this guy, he's good. And if you see the other snake, run.
I tell you what, why doesn't he take a photo and I can bring the photos up on the iPad?
Okay.
That's
Sure.
much better.
It's not the same, though.
No, it's not the same, and there's a reason for that. So anyway, we've got a snake guy. So he's an expert in all snakes in Thailand. The reason I got to meet him was we had a snake in the kitchen, and I rang him up and said, "There's a snake in the kitchen," and it was black or dark and a bit nasty looking. So I don't do snakes. So I gave him a call. So we're going to get him on the program, and he's got some great stories. And if you have any questions about snakes, that's next Sunday. Now, can we also address some of the questions we had? We asked people yesterday to send in their questions, and people had some questions.
Yesterday's
from that.
program. Scott D asks,
Hi, Scott.
This is a truly unique calendar for me. This is my 50th birthday, 30th year anniversary traveling to Thailand, and my 20th year wedding anniversary. I'm 5 years only away from retirement. I was wondering if Tim is a fan of the word reconciliation. Love the program.
Scott, I think I know what you're alluding to, but you probably need to be more specific. Now, if you're talking about whether Thais should reconcile with the people of Burma or the people of Myanmar after the wars 200 years ago, then I've got an opinion on that. I don't know what you're referring to, so you might have to be a little bit more precise before I answer that, or not answer that. But congratulations on he's going to retire when he's 55. Good luck to you.
Good for him, though.
You can get a retirement visa in Thailand once you're over 50.
And Bob Johnson asks, are the tobacco companies behind the use of these smoking vaporizers?
Yeah, look, a lot of people, they sort of say the reason that Thailand has cracked down on vaping is because the tobacco companies have sort of got their tentacles into the government, and the government's making too much money out of tobacco, and they don't want people moving from tobacco to use vapes instead. But that doesn't quite make sense to me, because, I mean, wouldn't they then say, okay, we're going to tax vaping products instead? So I'm not sure if it's to do with the science or whether it's to do with taxation or anything else, but I think it's a real oversimplification to say, oh, it's just because of the tobacco industry. Whilst the tobacco industry is quite big, they're certainly not as big as they used to be. A lot of Thais stopping smoking, a lot of them going to vaping. So I think Thailand has got to try and figure out what it's going to do with vaping. What did you think about, I mean, during the week I haven't had a chance to talk to you, but what did you think about the Taiwanese actress and what's been going on?
I think...
Apart from the fact that she's not going to want to marry you.
Sorry. I was really hopeful, then I found out that she was married, so that...
Ruined
me, absolutely. I'm really upset about that. No. I really think that even though that this has gotten a lot of international coverage, unfortunately, I do not think that it's enough to deter or
Just lean in a bit.
deter
The microphone.
or significantly decrease the rates of extortion and these types of shakedowns, if you will, in Thailand. While it does shed some light on the situation of how dire it is, I don't think there's going to be any immediate or significant change until the entire system is put through a deep cleanse, really.
Yeah, I saw a video yesterday of the 6 policemen frog marched quite violently almost from a police station into the back of a paddy van. So they're certainly taking these charges quite seriously. Now, I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, it's just a show. It didn't look like a show to me. And there was even a suggestion that they'd be facing the death penalty, which I thought was a little bit...
That's a little bit extreme.
Just a little bit extreme. But that was reported in the Bangkok Post. So my feeling is that I think that has made the whole issue of vaping much more clear. And there's a lot of people that vape. A lot. And I'm sure they sit in your restaurant and vape.
Yeah.
And people openly vape, not knowing...
Even police officers have seen it.
Even the
they
police
vape
officers.
at the traffic stops.
Yes, I've seen it as well. So I think there's going to be at least a short-term crackdown on places selling vapes, the markets, the retail stores, and some of the places that used to openly say that they provided shisha.
Vendors on the side of the road in Bangkok selling all the vapes you could think of.
Sure.
Out of nowhere.
But with all the Middle Eastern people coming to Thailand at the moment, the Saudi Arabians, people from Oman, I mean, there's quite a lot of people coming in from the Middle Eastern countries. They like the shisha pipes and stuff. And there's places around Thailand that specialise in providing shisha pipes and shisha to those people. The police are going to have a bit of a field day cracking down on them.
Shisha's banned here as well?
Yes.
It's in almost every club in Patong.
If you
ask for it.
There you go. So I think should Thailand now sort of look at vaping and say, oh, okay, we recognise that people might be better off smoking a vape than smoking a tobacco cigarette, or probably better than smoking.
It's certainly healthier
cannabis.
than the hand-rolled cigarettes that lots of construction workers smoke.
Without any filter at all.
Yeah, no filter at all, just a dry banana leaf and just tobacco.
Bang.
That's intense stuff.
Straight to the brain. So I think there needs to be an argument by Thai health authorities and the parliamentarians to decide if vaping should be legal or not. What do you think? I mean, I don't think it's got anything to do with the tobacco industry. I think that is just a sort of a nice, easy meme that people roll out because they always assume the worst. But I don't think it's to do with the tobacco industry. I'm pretty sure there's more to it. So interested to know what you think about that.
Kun Rando Farang says, tobacco monopoly. It's legit called that. And
yeah, look, I think the tobacco monopoly generally is a lot weaker than it used to be. There's so many countries now that have almost banned smoking. I mean, poor smokers are pushed out onto the footpath in the pouring rain, and they have to stand 6 meters away from the door. And I think smoking is sort of so frowned upon that it's a bit of a generational thing. I think the next couple of generations will be smoking a lot less than the past generations.
And someone, Jarl, asks, I think it's Jarl, what's up with the Thai princess blaming Pfizer for the vaccine injury?
Oh, okay, well, just be careful with that because there was a Thai doctor who's made some completely erroneous claims during the week linking the health concerns for the Thai princess to the Pfizer vaccine. Now, these claims have been completely discredited. Apart from anything else, the princess, her vaccination status has never been made public. The Thai doctor who made these claims doesn't know her vaccine status. He's claiming heart problems, where we do know, and the palace has announced that she suffered from basically a sort of a brain aneurysm. So any links that were made by this doctor have already been completely discredited. And unfortunately, this stuff's still floating around the net and people still pushing it, sort of wanting the princess to have been affected by a Pfizer vaccine, whereas absolutely no evidence to support that whatsoever. Having said that, Pfizer have recently made some announcements about some additional warnings that are linked to its vaccination that occur in maybe I think they actually clarified 1 in 1,000 people or whatever. Dr. John Campbell did a series about that the last couple of days, and I'm up to speed with that. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that issue except to say that Thai doctor, who I'm not even going to bother naming, has been completely discredited over this particular issue.
Very well said. Moving on. Gamble mentions, I used vaping to quit smoking after many unsuccessful attempts, and then I gave up vaping, which was much easier. And KJ asks, hello KJ, are police officers underpaid in Thailand that the shakedowns become a necessity to supplement income?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And this might lead to that story from Dan Robinson, that one I sent you.
Yes.
I think. Yes, Thai police are underpaid. I think they get 9,000 to 12,000 baht a month.
Mm-hmm.
They have to buy their own gun.
They do?
I think so.
I thought that was issued.
No, I might have that wrong. But look, they are pretty much underpaid. And then some people say, well, because they're so underpaid there, maybe it's okay if they get a little bit on the side and a few brown paper bags.
Every tourist is a free walking $500 baht bill. And especially if they don't have a helmet on, or you can catch them out on a legitimate problem, that's all right. It's more of the random shakedown for the license routine that I'm not a fan of. But if they're blatantly ignoring the rules and regulations of the road, then I think it's okay. It's more of a morally gray area.
Morally grey, to say the least. Oh, God, I've clicked the wrong thing.
Well, I can get the comment here. So this links us back to a comment that we got from what yesterday's program?
Dan Robinson.
From Dan Robinson saying, 1. Ignorance. Hi, Dan. Ignorance of the law is no defense. The onus is on the individual tourist to know the laws of the country they're visiting. Sure. 2. Read many comments in this and other forums from high and mighty fellas in regards to police corruption in Thailand. Guess what? If you've ever handed over cash on the spot instead of getting a ticket and fine from a Thai cop, you've aided corruption.
Can we just address that one? So if you are stopped in a checkpoint and you weren't wearing a helmet,
mm-hmm.
you don't have the correct license, or both, or something else, you're going to usually get a 500 baht fine. If you don't have a helmet and you don't have the correct license, it's 1,000 baht these days. Now, you're not going to get away from that checkpoint until you've paid the money.
Correct.
Now, is that legal or not? Are they legally allowed to collect the cash? It has to be cash. You can't pay with a scan or anything. They will issue a receipt, usually, as part of the ticket that you get. So this happens like all over Thailand, but especially it seems to happen in the places where foreigners go and don't wear helmets and there's so many foreigners out there riding around on motorbikes that don't have the correct license. So they're easy prey. The fact that they do this around about 11 o'clock in the morning just before lunchtime
mm-hmm.
always seems to be poor timing to me. But you're not going to get away from that checkpoint until you've paid over the cash. So it's all very well to say that you're aiding and abetting corruption by paying that money. But if you stand there and cross your arms and go, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay, you're just not going to leave the checkpoint. So you can be all high and mighty about it, but I don't believe that you're aiding and abetting. You should have just had a helmet on and had the correct license in the first place, and pay over the 500 baht and get on your way. There's more to that.
Yes, moving on. You seem very passionate about this.
Well, it's just, Dan just sort of makes it out to be very black and white, and I think the whole corruption issue is much more subtle shades of grey.
Okay. If you've ever handed over 20,000 baht to a visa agent for a visa that only costs 1,900 baht, you've benefited from and aided corruption.
Again, the visa agents don't all act in a corrupt manner. Yes, often visa agents will oil the cogs, and they will make sure that you've got everything correct and you've got everything ticked and the photos in the right places, particularly at the moment because the new applications are being checked much more thoroughly than in the past. And the immigration officers love it when a visa agent is involved, because usually the application has all been done. Now, there are some visa agents who will, for example, if you're applying for a retirement visa here in Thailand, an O visa, if you don't have 800,000 baht in a Thai bank, they will put 800,000 baht in the Thai bank. You get the statement, tick, and they can grease the wheels and make that happen. Now, that's just one case where some visa agents may do that to help you. Is that corruption? Well, okay, obviously you're paying some money to grease the wheels to make those things happen. So, yes, I suppose that would be considered corrupt. Of course, you can do it all absolutely legit. You can do it yourself without a visa agent. But the visa agents are there to make your life a little bit easier, for which you will pay. And the visa agents pay immigration to be able to act as intermediaries. Now, they provide a service based around Thai culture, based around the way things work. And if you don't like it, you don't have to participate. So, I think Dan is just saying that corruption is black and white. And I'm saying in Thailand, there's just a lot of shades of grey. Yes, I have used a visa agent in the past to get me over the pass mark, to sort out a few wrinkles in my application. That's a long time ago. Now I don't have to worry about doing that. But I'd be interested to see what people think.
Well, I think we got to go through these faster because I'm getting a million comments.
Okay, sorry.
Going very fast today. Sorry.
Over to you.
Let's see here. I read this out. It was really funny, so I am going to read it out. Fun-sized media says, I got shaken down at Susie Wong's in Phuket, and I liked it. That is all. Very funny. I like that. Hans says, vape bad, shisha good. Go figure. And Frank says,
vape bad, shisha good. No, shisha banned as well.
I know, but I guess it's more.
He just enjoys it.
Sure. Frank asks, I've been visiting Thailand since 1990. There's no question here. 1993, but it's lost this charm. It's no longer the land of smiles, but the land of snarls.
I think it's pretty much still the land of smiles. I mean, look, we do spend a lot of time hanging shit on police and various little things, but generally, I love living here. And I'd probably have a lot more to complain about living in other parts of the world.
Michael asks, can Phuket cope now? Qatar will fly 3 flights in a day?
Yes, Qatar announced during the week, Qatar Airlines. Did I say that correctly?
Qatar. Yeah, Qatar. Qatar. In America, they say Qatar, which I think was very incorrect. It's
it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's Qatar.
Qatar, I think is correct.
Qatar.
And what do you call the beach next to Coron Beach?
Qatar. Qatar.
Okay.
There's the Thai pronunciation and the English.
But yes, 3 flights a day into Phuket, 5 flights a day into Bangkok from Qatar Airlines.
And sound, someone says sound, okay. Hefe says, I hope there's no plans to ban Nick's smoking hot shirts, strongest shirt game in Thailand YouTubers. Thank you very much, Hefe. I do select these very carefully.
Speaking of shirts, we'll talk about these at some stage.
Yes. Let's see here. Is it correct? Own gun. David says, yes, that is correct. They have to buy their own gun as I understand it, or certainly that was the case.
Yeah, that's my understanding. They did have to pay for their gun. I think they had to pay for their uniform as well. Always seems to be about one size too small as well.
Yeah.
Or they grow into them.
Not totally true. You could get the correctly issued ticket, spend time in the queue at the police station, make sure you have the correct fine and ID documents, or your bike will be staying, says John Swift.
Yeah, look, if you are fined 500 baht for a helmet or a license infringement, I suppose you can just insist that you go to the police station, but you're really just putting yourself to a lot more trouble because you're still going to have to pay the fine. It's not as if you're going to get off the fine. So you either pay the money and go, or you can go through all the kerfuffle and going to the police station and asking them to write a receipt and having your say and putting your hands on your hips and getting all lemon-lipped. But you're still going to have to pay the 500 baht.
Mangosteen says he was told that he failed, I assume it's male, failed a breathalyzer, 3,000 baht, and I was let go.
People making comments about this Thai doctor. I understand he is a highly qualified doctor, but in the case of his current claims, he's got this one completely wrong because he's working on evidence or alleged evidence he simply doesn't have. So that's my complaint about him in this particular matter.
And, I just had it. It's going too fast.
So many comments coming in.
So many comments coming in today.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us.
It's a lot. Someone had mentioned that a lot of tourists are under the impression that laws regarding road safety and traffic laws do not apply to them. And I'd like to add that I've seen that way more now, especially people on those Honda ADVs, like those 300s, and they stick an exhaust on it because they think it sounds good.
Honda
ADV.
What?
It's like a 300. It looks really weird. Personally, I don't think it's a very appealing bike. It's an automatic 300, and I guess it gives them big cojones because they blow through red lights on him.
Right.
And they do it a lot.
Right. Look, I know when I was down at the Stoned Crab pub, which is the family business of Nick, and I think there's an open night tonight.
Yes, so there's a wonderful, giant, grand reopening party tonight.
I thought it was just me being invited. You're inviting everybody?
We're inviting the whole island.
Oh, well, I felt a bit special for a moment.
At 6 p.m., there will be meatloaf available. There might be deviled eggs. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It's my mother's, best dish.
All right, so I'm coming.
Meatloaf, a whole bunch of Western food. And so come on down to the Stoned Crab Pub in Rawai, Naiharn. In that general area, you can look it up on Google Maps. We have fixed it. Now the address shows up. And it starts at 6 p.m., but if you want to get a good table, come a little bit early. Okay.
So thank you for that. I was going to say, when I was sitting down at the Stone Crab last week, it's right on that main road, Sayuan Road in Rawai. And there was a lot of people going past on motorbikes, some of them topless.
No helmet,
on big bikes. And I was thinking, these are just disasters waiting to happen. I'm thinking that some of them are going to be barreling into a bar, getting a few drinks in them and jumping back on their bikes. And they're just weapons out on the road. And there are so many foreigners that behave in ways in these tourist zones around Thailand that wouldn't do the same things back in their home countries, or there wouldn't be the latitude by their police that seems to be offered by Thai police. And people get really upset when Thai police stop them. But if you're doing something wrong, you deserve to be caught. So just stick to the rules. It makes it a lot easier for everybody. And by the way, if you are riding a bike and you fall off it, if you're not wearing some sort of clothes, your skin does not like being rubbed along the road.
Road rash is very, very nasty. And I've seen pictures of one of these we used in school as well, because there was a brief road safety course that we had to take. And it showed the effects of wearing a full face helmet. And it was a picture of after an accident. And the entire front of the helmet was all scratched off because that's what saved the guy's face from rubbing the pavement at like 70 kilometers an hour.
Sure.
And that's enough for anyone to put on a helmet.
Yes. I just don't think we need to say more about that.
Exactly.
Were the girls topless? Have you seen topless?
I have not.
I don't think I've seen topless. I've seen some topless girls at the
beach.
Beaches. And the Thai police have occasionally gone and just...
I think it's more tolerated, though.
When the Thai police go, and I'm not sure if they're giving them a warning or just having a bit of a look, but there are cases of people who are sunbathing topless. I think it's popular in Europe, in parts of Europe, that it's not tolerated here in Thailand generally. You'll get a warning. You're not going to be dragged off or arrested unless the police like you.
Anyway, Animated World Life, interesting comment, says Thailand specifically targets foreigners for a lot of things. Does this make Thailand a nation of racists?
Oh, don't start on that. Yes, look, Thailand does have a few likes and dislikes in the race department. Question here from the insult. I'll let you figure that one out.
He says, I thought Meatloaf died. And he did, but I think we resurrected him and we're bringing him back for the party. So you can see Meatloaf at the party.
He had a memorable performance.
In the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, at the Australian AFL Grand Final one year. It was about 10 years ago, I think. And he was a little bit off key, like really off key, and got caned on that. The insult investor question: in Cambodia, I had cops try to stop me and I just drove around them and sped off at least 6 times. Have you ever seen that in Thailand? I just wouldn't recommend it. I just think the last thing you want is a Thai policeman with a gun chasing you, or a group of Thai police chasing you. No, I wouldn't recommend that at any stage. But good luck if you're in Cambodia.
Nowhere asks, could you explain about losing face in terms of social status in Thai culture, and how does this apply to expats interacting with Thais?
Look, face is not just a Thai thing. It's very much an Asian thing. You might be better at talking about this than I, but if for a Thai to lose face is for them to be challenged about something, to be made to be feel embarrassed about something,
or humbled by
humbled by somebody else. And losing face is a big thing in Thai culture and Asian culture generally, and it usually doesn't end well. If you back a Thai person into a situation where they have lost face, you might be in for a world of pain.
Or a visit by his friends.
Or some revenge somewhere down the track, because some of them do have long memories. But yeah, Thai face is something that you should perhaps have a bit of a read up about. It doesn't, I mean, if you are in a store and you start, there's a problem with your bill, and you start yelling at the waitress, and, oh, this is wrong, and didn't you check that, and didn't you do maths when you were at school? They sort of will go blank, or they'll just walk away. They just don't want to be challenged with things like that. There's other ways of doing it. When you have Thai staff, criticising them or berating them about something, you have to go about it in a totally different way. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say it's wrong, it's just different, and it's something that Westerners working here in Thailand need to learn if you want to have just cordial relationships with your Thai staff. Can I do this topic?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. Right now we're talking about random stuff. And one thing before you start, what Nick just said from Richard Evans about the helmet wearing down to save your face happened to a mate of mine.
Nick, are you Thai? Are you draft eligible?
Yes, I'm draft eligible. I actually have to go on the 8th, I believe.
Of February?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not going to be here next weekend?
I'm gone for 5 days, yeah.
Oh, so we don't have you next weekend?
Yeah, I'm getting dragged to the...
Well, thanks for telling me.
It's no problem. I'm getting dragged to the jungle, so I'll be...
You're going to miss out on the snake.
Yeah. I'll see the snakes in the jungle, so I'll get plenty of that.
Okay, so that's interesting. Yes, you are a Thai citizen, although you
don't speak Thai. Yeah, I know. I get it.
You are draft eligible, but you are not doing the draft where you go into the army for 2 years. You're doing a different thing.
The way to circumnavigate that is to do the military service, which I'm doing now, and it's over the span of 3 months, and it's 1 month a year. Sorry, it's over the span of 3 years. You only have to go 1 month out of those 3 years. Do you
want to start again?
Continuously.
It goes over 3 years.
It goes over 3 years, of which every year I have to attend for 1 month. Whew. Okay. After which I do another thing for 5 days in the jungle, and you go like wake up at 3 a.m. and like shoot stuff and blow stuff up. Yeah, it's all right.
Chris, Tim and Nick, give us a status and bids on the elephants, please. Chris, are you the one that sent the bid in? I did send you an email just asking you to clarify your very, very generous bid. Can we go to this briefly? Just want to grab a couple of those elephants behind you whilst I type in. You're not listening to me. Do you want to grab some elephants? So we'll go to these elephants. We're auctioning off these elephants and just bringing it up on this machine.
Do you have the larger camera angle?
There we go.
Okay, sure.
Look at that. Will it stand there?
Yeah, it will.
Well, look at that. So the toy elephant auction, turning Tim Newton's crazy shirts into seeds of change. There you can see some of the shirts that have been turned into these really cool little toy elephants. Now, there's a whole explanation. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video to this website so you can see the page. And this is a picture of me and those shirts I used to wear. Indeed, the shirt in the middle there has been turned into these elephants here, including this one here. So yes, we're auctioning them off for Seeds of Change. There's some information there about Seeds of Change. And then I've got a whole list of, they've all got numbers of the small, the medium, and the large. They've all got names. This is Amazon Amy, and she's 12 centimeters high, and a minimum bid of 3,000 baht. All the money is going to Seeds of Change. Blue Brianna, we've got Chalky Chelsea, Checkered Charlie, and
Checkered Charlie's cute. What?
Checkered Charlie's very cute. And we've got Jungle Jan, Hawaiian Hallie.
Are they all
Purple Pepper.
alliteration?
Songkran Sally, yes. Stripey Susan, Violet Valerie. And then these are medium-sized ones. They're 16 centimetres high. And the minimum bid for those is 3,500 baht. In all, as we go through, we've got some 37. We've got large ones as well, which are 19 centimetres high. And there's Checkered Charlie in a large. You want to put a bid in for that? Thanks, Nick. And we've got Purple Pepper. I love this one. These are my favourite ones from that crazy Amazon shirt I used to have.
I like Hawaiian Hallie. That's a pretty nice.
Okay, so you're putting in a bid in? Minimum bid, 5,000 baht. And then we're right down the bottom here. We've got these little keychain ones. You can see the hand holding those. And we've got Songkran Sally in a little 5 centimetre keychain, all made from my old shirts. And then we've got this travel pack.
For reference, the tiny baby ones.
Is it going to go on top of... Oh, good luck. Oh, well done. Don't breathe, anybody. And we've got a travel pack there, which has got sunglasses pack, an eye mask, and not a face mask, and like a purse.
A toiletries bag?
Toiletries bag, if you like. That's a travel pack. And then we've got this monster who stands about, what's that, about 50 centimetres high, and it got a bit of all my shirts there. Minimum bid for that one is 20,000 baht. So I'll put a link in the description. I can't do it at the moment. I'll have to do it after the program's finished. It's at phuket-go.com, and you click on that story and it'll give you all the instructions on how to make a bid. You send us an email with the number of the elephant. Each one of them has got numbers, and then you make your bid. And then we'll also, probably next week, next Saturday, we might do a live auction based on the bids that have already come in. So that's how you do it. All the money, every single cent, every single baht, is going to Seeds of Change. And there's some information about Seeds of Change and a link to their website in that particular story. How did we do?
I think we did great.
There's the keychain, there's a medium, there's a large, and this one's a small. So you've got the 3 different sizes.
Oh, can we put the small on top of the medium, then put the extra small on top of the small?
I'll put the medium and... Oh, this is not going to work.
Oh, yeah, you got it. No, you're good.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Don't just sit over here for a little bit.
And so we've got the fan on over there. I'm just worried the fan's going to blow the whole thing over. You can see it's blowing the ears a bit there. So yeah, really cute. Made by the people who benefit from Seeds of Change. They're given lessons on how to sew, and and they're paid a wage. A lot of these underprivileged people, a lot of them people who have been sort of fall between the cracks of various welfare systems, maybe don't have a family, and Seeds of Change does give them an opportunity to earn a living and be involved in making these great little elephants. And in the case of these particular ones, from my old shirts that I used to wear. So you're doing a great benefit by getting involved in this charity. And it's all legit, and it's all backed by Living Waters Phuket.
Wonderful.
I was going to get to that, but you got a few more comments first.
Darm asks, Tim and Nick, what are your biggest fears? Residing in Thailand, he says, mine is mistaken identity. My biggest fear here, maybe about living here, I'd just say road safety. Like, because the thought of having an accident never leaves the back of your mind, especially here, because you can do everything by the book and you can stop at every red light and you can do everything absolutely correct. The problem is the other drivers that put you in danger because they fail to adhere to those traffic laws.
I think once you get used to the rhythm of Thai traffic, it's a lot better. You
Well,
know
sure.
what to look for.
But when you see those videos of all the bikes stopped in the front of the red light and a bus comes out of nowhere and plows into all of them, you can't do a lot to prepare for that.
No, I mean, obviously that's not going to be your best day when that happens. I wonder if they're just going to stay there for the rest of the program. They're staying there now. So, look, well, I don't know if I have I feel safer generally living here in Thailand than I did in my home country.
Well, sure.
So when it comes to things that I fear, driving on the road, I mean, I drive my motorbike. I usually drive quite carefully. So again, it's just a matter of just keeping an eye out on all the traffic around you. Obviously, there's a lot more motorbikes. So if you do sort of take your time and you keep your eyes open and you do drive the way that everybody else is driving, then I think you're sort of okay. Don't drink and drive, obviously. Wear a helmet, obviously. Make sure you've got a motorbike license, obviously. But no, traffic, I don't know. I'll have to have a bit of a think about that. I don't wake up worrying about anything in particular. I usually worry about how many views I got the day before. That's my worries.
And Alpha Bravo, I guess in reference to the military training, Nick, you shot with a rifle 11? No, it was a broken, if you will, and reissued M16 that was left over, I guess. They looked like they just found these in a warehouse and gave them to us. But they were modified to shoot 22s, and you had to shoot them and load them individually into the barrel. So the magazines were ripped out, and you just had to load it in individually, burn your hand every time a bullet came out. That kind of thing. And let's see here. When am I giving my shirts in for elephants? I don't know. You guys wanted my shirts.
Wow. Look, let's see how this goes.
Let's see how this goes.
We've got 30 elephants. We've got 10 large, 10 medium, 10 small, 5 key rings, the travel pack, and then the big monster stands about as high as all those. The one that's made from all the shirts in the one, that's the big XL elephant, which has a name which I've forgotten.
And Hans asks, do you ship the charity elephants to the US?
Yes, we'll ship them anywhere. Obviously, whatever you bid for the elephant, that money will go to Seeds of Change. You'll have to pay for the postage as well. We'll get those rates this week. We'll publish them so you'll know what it's not going to be that much. But we obviously do have to charge for sending them overseas. So we'll give you the options available for sending them overseas. Maybe a collector's item. If the YouTube channel starts to keep on going as well,
then you can say, I got this when we were at 16,000 subscribers. Wow.
They could be worth, I don't know, a lot. I've got one of Tim Newton's shirts as a toy elephant. I don't know. Probably not.
Hans says 22 M16 rolling on the floor laughing. Yes, it looked like, I'm not exactly what it was because I have no idea what this Frankenstein gun was, but it looked like it bared resemblance to an M16, but it had been repurposed to shoot a 22, and it was very quiet. Honestly, it was a dangerous looking gun in the sense that I was in fear that it would blow up in my hands, but that's what they gave us, and that's what we shot. But you also do get to play with real guns later on. It just depends on what rank and how far you've gotten into the training that determines whether or not you can play with fun stuff. For example, we can play with grenades, which is really fun. Anyway.
Fun for the whole family.
Fun for the whole family. Well, lawn darts were fun for the whole family until people started stabbing each other.
Here's a photo that won a photograph competition in Australia. Fantastic photograph. The surf, the surfers, amazing lighting. And it won a photograph competition, except that it's not a real photograph. It's by AI. So just a little bit about the story. This week, the judges of a weekly themed competition run by electronics retailer DigiDirect, this is in Australia, unknowingly awarded the studio submission of a computer-generated image the top prize. And the people who did it, they said, We did it to prove that we're at a turning point with artificial intelligence technology by passing the ultimate test. Could an AI-generated image not only slip by unnoticed, but actually be awarded the top prize by a photography expert? And as they said, the answer is a resounding yes. That's another story. So there it is. Quite a striking image, but it's not real. What say you?
We had this
I'll leave it on.
discussion. We had the discussion before the show started. I don't think it should be included or judged because it was not taken by a human and it's not real. Real in the sense that it's not an actual photo that was taken. It's a compilation, if you will, of multiple photos, and this is what it churned out. So to that extent, I believe by the rules of most photograph competitions, you actually have had to take the picture yourself, and it has to be real. So I think that this wouldn't qualify in that anyway. And sure, we can say that it's art and that it's...
So I wouldn't mind putting that on my wall. I mean, it's a
sure,
striking image.
It looks cool, sure. But in terms for validation of a photo competition, I don't think it's allowed. Like if you got a machine to paint for you instead of painting your own picture in a painting competition, I don't think that would count because now you're just letting a machine do the work. You're not actually
Didn't a human program the machine to do it?
Well, sure, a human programmed a machine. You can say the human made this computer, but you can say a human made the car. But the same thing. I don't think the essence, the human spirit, is captured by a machine.
Right, well, this is all very interesting. I'd be interested to hear what you think about this. I mean, obviously a striking image. I can bring it up full screen. Here we go. So, yeah, I mean, look at that. It's an astonishing image. And the AI technology has taken a whole lot of other photos, sort of welded them together with in a way that it's been programmed to do so. And it comes up with this image that looks strikingly real in a sort of a weird way. But, I mean, you could bring up hundreds, thousands of these AI-produced artworks, and some of them are pretty amazing. But is it art? Would you put that up on your wall? I would.
Well, now you changed the question. Of course it's art. Anything can be art. You can look at a toilet and say that it's art. You can.
Sorry, there's not many toilets I would describe
I know,
as
but
art.
let's say if it was gold plated.
You realise these are blocking.
No, that's why I'm over here. You can still see my face.
It's on the side.
If it's a gold plated toilet with like rhino horn ivory, sure, it can be art. But I don't think.
Well, BWW says taken from a drone. Well, no, it wasn't taken from a drone. It was created. Oh, good luck. Good luck.
Have ye of little faith, Tim.
Oh, dear. Okay. Trump's gold toilet, says Hans. No, even that wasn't art.
I'm just too good. Just too good.
Well done to you. So they're the elephants, and they're being auctioned. We've got 30 of these elephants, and I'll put a link in the description after we've finished the show today, which tells you how you can go about making a donation, bidding for one of these elephants. And if you win the bid, all that money goes to Seeds of Change. Information about that charity in the story as well. Legal questions surrounding these AI-generated images too. Who owns the copyright? Should the source images for the AI database be credited or paid? In the same way that artists who use samples of bits of music recombine them in various DJ mixes, and they have to pay for using those samples.
Sure.
So should the AI imagery, I mean, it's using a much larger database. It's using almost not infinite, but it's using a database which includes any image that's been published on the internet and recombining them. I mean, it is astonishing in its own way, but I would hang that on my wall. It's not that I love AI, it's just that art to me is very subjective. You either like the painting or the photograph or you don't. What are you saying?
Nothing. Fun Size Media asks, can you look into your crystal ball and tell me if the smoke will be gone by April when I visit again?
Usually by April, we're getting into the end of the burning season. Also, April is usually, in most parts of time, where you've got the start of the wet season, the early phase. So April the 13th is Songkran, the day of the Thai New Year. And pretty much within the next few weeks after Songkran, if not during Songkran, the rains do start. So, April, it's usually a pretty hot time of the year around most of Thailand, which is why people don't mind running around the streets with water pistols cooling each other down. Other people might call it a water fight. I'd call it cooling each other down.
I'm getting hit by elephants, and lyric poet says, "I want my shirt. Or, I want Nick's shirt. Thank you." I'm so glad people like my shirts. And
what's on those shirts? But it's bamboo.
It's bamboo shoots, but everyone thought it was marijuana leaves or palm trees.
Heaven forbid!
Why? I don't get it.
Nong Wasu is going to bid for Nick's G-string.
You're not getting that one.
You're not going to be making much of an elephant out of Nick's G-string, I don't think.
Grant Brown says the government should be subsidizing and educating farmers into suitable alternatives to burning crop stubble. I am sure Bangkok residents and other high pollution areas would agree.
Yeah, look, this whole issue, and I think there has been quite a change in the behaviour of many Thai farmers over mostly the past 5 years. There's been quite a crackdown and a lot more education about the issue of burning crops. There's now a lot of these farmers who are sharing machinery that can, mow the till the remnants back down into the soil, blah 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 blah. So a lot of that is happening in Thailand. But as I showed you with the fire maps, it's not Thailand that's causing a lot of these problems. It's the burning off in the border provinces of Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia, mostly Cambodia, that is causing the problem. So the Thai government is going to have to go beyond the borders of Thailand to try and solve the problem. Bangkok seems to be suffering more than most other capitals around Asia from the burning off of other people's rubbish. So I think that's the problem. The traffic is the traffic is a problem, but it's not the fumes from the traffic that's causing this major smog problem at this time of the year.
Paul Baxter and TQ asked, how would I cope during military training not speaking Thai, or was I joking?
Now, that's a very good question.
That is a very good question. So the easiest way that I found to cope, if you will, during military training is there are certain instructions that they order, kind of like, present arms, and stuff like that.
So you go, sorry, I don't understand.
No, after a while.
What do you mean?
When you're also doing it with 100 other people, you can understand how it goes. And I can hear the term, and I know what the term is, so I can memorize that, sure. But, if we're actually doing an exercise or whatever, I just stand next to my Thai friend who can speak English, and he whispers it into my ear. And also, the generals are also aware that I don't speak Thai.
How do they treat you? Are you treated any differently by the other soldiers?
The 50-50s have been half Thai, half foreigners. There's a lot of us. Lukrung. Yeah, I don't use that term. We don't use that term. We get pushed aside into our own separate platoon/squadron, if you will, while we're still with other Thai schools. We're kind of more segregated. I don't know if I can use that. Segregated, because we're separate. And treated differently. I guess the other Thai kids envy us, kind of, because, look at those rich private school kids or whatever, Oh, and some of them can't even...
That's what I'd be
Some of them can't even speak Thai, But at the end of the day, I guess we look out for ourselves. And so if there is any problems that come up, it gets solved. Very diplomatically.
Thug Life says, you two are a great team, kind of like Starsky and Hutch.
Ooh.
Do you know who Starsky and Hutch is?
It's from the old television cop show.
Sure. You were into sort of the 80s
I'm
genre,
into that old stuff.
Music and TV shows, so yes, Nick would know.
But I'm more of a Miami Vice kind of guy.
Yes, you are. I think we're sort of coming to a natural conclusion. Did I have something else to talk about today? I did. Very briefly, and I'm sort of going to be heading off into a different direction here. But cannabis compound CBD, cannabinoid oil,
cannabinoids,
cannabinoid oil,
cannabidiol.
Yes, that.
Cannabidiol.
It's oils made from the cannabis plant, but they're now banned in Hong Kong. A 7-year jail term for possession, and Hong Kong is banning cannabidiol, or CBD, which is available in Thailand, of course, adding that cannabis compound to be a list of criminalised drugs, including heroin and cocaine. Whilst CBD is not psychoactive, authorities say it's inseparable from the THC, the compound responsible for the high produced by cannabis, which is illegal in Hong Kong. So cannabis products, the cannabidiol is now outlawed in Hong Kong. And I think that we're going to see generally around Asia that there's going to be a little bit more attention made to some of these products. But in Hong Kong, those cannabidiol products now illegal. And the other thing I was going to mention very briefly, that Sony is moving nearly all its camera production to Thailand. And you probably already knew that the awesome Sony camera you have your eye on won't be made in Japan. But if you're assuming that it will be manufactured in China, like everything else, you'd be in for a surprise. According to Japanese financial publication Nikkei, Sony has moved more than 92% of its camera production out of China. If you buy a Sony camera in the US, Europe, or Japan, it will be made in Thailand.
Wow.
And I dare say that if you buy a Sony camera in Thailand, it will also be made in Thailand. So just an interesting thing of a big company like Sony moving production of its cameras out of China into Thailand. Good for Thailand, bad for China.
Some interesting questions regarding the military service. So what am I, a military branch, specialty, infantry, Navy? It's not a full-fledged, join the military. It's just the program that younger kids do. I think you can think of it as ROTC, if that.
What's ROTC?
It's like a younger military program that kids in high school can join.
Like cadets.
Sure.
We call it cadets.
Sure,
in Australia.
Yeah. Okay.
I
It's similar to that. Oh, well, there you go. It's similar to that, but it makes you exempt from having to do the mandatory 2-year service when you turn 20-something. And someone else had asked, will I have to get a number 1 haircut before I leave? Yes, I will have to get a number 1 haircut.
This week?
The buzz.
You're going to get the buzz cut this week?
No, I'll get it later.
But
It's
you're
going to be fresh.
Okay. But your hair grows back.
My hair grows back.
Unlike somebody else here.
What Animal House movie for what ROTC? Yeah, so Animal House is a really good movie to watch about that.
All right.
It's actually very similar. It's funny you should mention that. It is very similar. But anyway, go on. Have you watched Animal House?
I think I probably did. I don't remember it as like in my top 10 movies.
Okay. No, it's just a slapstick comedy movie.
Sure.
Roland
instruments are manufactured in Malaysia. I got my piano fixed during the week.
I got a Roland keyboard at home as well.
Well, we're going to have dueling keyboards one day.
I'll do a guitar. I can probably duel better on that.
But you're going to have to plug it in, though. It's an electric guitar. You don't play the acoustic guitar.
I can play it, but it's not as fun as playing electric,
You like making noise.
I like making noise. Oh, and here, another good question. Samuel Carr asks, does Thailand have a problem with stolen valor? Do certain individuals claim to be a SEAL? Very popular in the United States. I haven't seen it very popular, but it does happen sometimes where people claim to be a higher up thing than they actually are. But nothing...
It's just human exaggeration.
I think it's just human exaggeration, but it's not very common. It happens sometimes, but it's not a big problem like it is in the States.
Hi, Nikki. Nikki says, very late but dropping to say happy weekend to Tim Newton today. Somebody wants dueling banjos. Get Tim's barber. Yeah, there you go. Get my barber. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you're a little bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand than you were an hour ago. And tomorrow we'll be back with our special guests doing the same thing, talking about the hot topics in Thailand. You're involved because it's your program. I'll put a link in the description so that you can bid on these little babies here. We've only got 30 of them. So your bid, your highest bid, will secure yourself a little bit of YouTube history. That might be saying it a bit too strongly. But thanks everybody for dropping in. Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you.
Thanks for telling me during the middle of the program you won't be here next week.
No problem.
And I'll have to get somebody else in. Who will I get? No. It won't be Natty or whatever the girl's name is. So we're in Phuket. They're all up in Bangkok, and people sort of think that there are 2 YouTube channels in Thailand, and that we're sort of having some sort of competition. It's just not anything like that at all. There's thousands of YouTube channels, and a lot of them are a whole lot better than what I do. But we do the news, we do our little thing, and we love having you watching us each day. So let's hope that happens. Whatever the girl's name is, I don't know. It was Natty, and what was the other girl's name?
Sarah.
I don't know anything about Sarah. I don't know who she is. I've never seen her. So good luck to
Our note says to get the Susie Wong.
I could get Susie Wong as a co-host.
Maybe. She could be our weather woman.
Is Susie Wong probably a person in history?
Maybe.
Oh, you don't know. Not
I don't know.
Susie Wong. All right. Thanks, everybody. So, I know what they're going to talk about for the next half hour if we leave the YouTube thing live. That's it. I don't know how to finish this. I just thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.